this is a ritual music, and this is a ritual music.
The focus is really on the music and the images as one complete thing. What we want is for someone to come into the room and just feel like they are surrounded by sound and image. The effect we really want is immersion.
I always think of what we're doing as more cinematic and less of a band.
So the way we first came together, I had been invited to perform at a video series. At that point, I'd been VJing for maybe 4 years, and I had started to feel a little limited by what projections were being used for. There would be electronic music and a DJ, and that was what the night was about. And the projections were just sort of there to decorate the walls. I'm interested in a lot more complicated music, and was really interested in what would happen if I put together people with more of a background in more complex music and more acoustic musics, and also people who have the kind of sense of musical structure and size that's conducive to more long-form work.
There's a lot of dimensions to the visuals, and similarly, there's a lot of different worlds and perspectives coming into the sound.
One track will be very high energy and very percussive. Another track will be very atmospheric and detached, but they're all part of one experience. And I think in some ways the audio-visual nature of the band makes it easier for us to go to a lot of different places, because it really does feel like a journey that we and the audience are taking together.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going to end up any more than you do.
Indirectness is an element where we try not to frame anything too neatly. We want people to have just enough to grasp onto before it turns into something else.
Yeah.
And if that process is imperceptible, all the better.
What defines what we do the most is what somebody does, and then what somebody does immediately
And
after.
the reaction to it. We're making sounds based on how it's going to affect us and everybody else in the room. So we grow every time we play.
There's no boundaries with us. There's no, Max, you pulled up a track you should never play that. That's just not a reality with us.
Somewhat of a subconscious reflection sometimes on the visual, naturally reacting on what's going on the screen, not the other way around.
So we've got this sort of back and forth where you guys are always taking emotions and inspirations from the visuals, and the visuals are reacting in a very direct way to what you do.
This beautiful energy between all four of us that you can't make up.
So there's this very creative
conversation.
Conversation. One thing I always tell people is that because it is improvised music, what you see will exist one time and one time only.
Yes.
I always think of this line from Kafka's Before the Law, that this door exists only for you, and now I'm going to open it. I often joke with people that I think what we do is a sort of alternative direction that cinema could have gone. In the early days of cinema was a collaborative effort. You would have one person with reels of film, and you'd have a musician who was sort of cueing the audience what to think of the picture. And I've often thought that, the direction cinema went was that the music receded and the images became the story. But it didn't have to go that way. They could have kept an equal position between the image and the sound.
Which is kind of a thing of trust, right? Of trusting that we're gonna find something. Somebody's gonna do something that's gonna inspire me, and I'm gonna find something. And yeah, I'm gonna sit back and watch the movie for a moment and, just enjoy this.
And I think it's great that for all our flickering lights and colors changing rapidly and electronic noises and weird squealy things and sometimes chaos, that the overall effect you're left with is one of a certain centered, calm, almost spiritual feeling.